Go ahead.
Okay. We have a great feeling of attachment with the heart and mind of you. You are a particular human that has been brought into this discussion at this time to elevate the discussion. We have been speaking with many that are lovely humans, and they already believe, you see, in all of these energetic thoughts and beings and all of this. But now there is, you have been brought into the picture because you're not as as in the nicest way, we mean you're not as energetic and intuitive and as spiritually progressed as some. And we don't mean that as an insult, but we mean that you have been brought forward to escalate the groups of humans that are like you, those who are curious but can't seem to put their fingers on it.
Mm-hmm.
But to this point, we have been speaking with those who are playing with energy more. It's their second nature. They live this way. They live by intuition, this sort of thing. So there is now a change. We won't quite say an evolution because we're going lateral like this. We are reaching others that are similar to you because it is needed. As humanity is drawn forth to evolve, all humans must be included, not just the energetic earth lovers. They are already on their way. But there are many more humans that are off to the side that are curious or have no access to this information, have no interest yet, have not been moved energetically to move forth into this realm. These must be included as well. For all of mankind to evolve, everyone must evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You included, of course, you, but all the others as well that are even less curious than you. There are those as well. They're sitting way, way, way back. This is weirdness to them.
Mm-hmm.
But through you will attract those humans because they can trust you. They can't trust the hippies, can't, but they could trust you because you don't look like that. You don't have flowers in your hair, you see, so you are not the same. So those who look like you will will not believe, they will feel the energy that you are soon allowing to emit through you, and they will trust you. You are a different type of human than we have been speaking with so far. Do you understand what we mean?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
So now you are now becoming the spokesperson for them, for the non-believers, the slight curiosity, the tell us more, these humans. They need someone to speak for them, you see. So this has occurred for another level of humanity may be reached.
Okay.
This was not an accidental discussion. This was purposely arranged by your higher energetic self and the higher energetic self that is passing through the human, which wishes to bring as much, to allow as much love as possible through and out. To touch as many humans as possible. And it's very important to humans that they follow those who look or feel or act like them. Ones that they're comfortable with, they're similar to. It's just, that's the way just human evolution has been. You stay with those that look and act like you. There's no point in fighting it, whether it's right or wrong, not that doesn't matter, but it is the way. And not always, it can't always be verbalized this way, but it can be noticed. For when someone like you opens up, others who look like you will start to open up, and you'll say, that's weird. They didn't believe that before. Now they do, and now they do, and you'll notice the difference. So It's not a place for you to go and recruit others, not at all. It's a place for you to allow this unfolding to occur. For you are natural in this situation, in this place. So you will naturally evolve to your highest self. You don't have to push it or look for it or seek it out or anything. You don't have to read about it. It's inside of you already. So it will come out easily when you spend time with this vibration. This vibration naturally stimulates your DNA, and your higher self emerges. It can't resist the energy you see. It's this pull towards more energy. Energy loves other energy. It comes for it. It is like a magnet drawn to it. Give me more, give me more.
Hmm.
So this is the way your inner self is also, and it will naturally come out without any effort on your part. You're going to be surprised, and you will also be surprised of the others that look like you, that will now become hippie-like. They'll start to turn into these others that have flowers in their hair, and you will be surprised. You'll say, that doesn't make any sense. You were not that way before, but you're that way now.
Mhm. Well, I've been, trying to allow the energy to come through and the changes to take place, like just being making, like consciously making time to be mindful in the day and trying to keep my energetic vibration high, or my emotional level high and positive rather than be dwelling on negative things, and just trying to, I guess, walk the walk that of all the things you're talking about. So I'm trying to do more than just allow it to happen on its own time, but actually encourage it. But
What is wrong with allowing life to unfold?
I'm impatient.
Yes, you are. When you don't allow it to unfold, you miss the magic. So you get ahead and you get the thing, but you missed the process in between. For the process in between is the magic. You don't know what happened in between. For there are other humans possibly that will come and offer you gifts. But if you rush ahead, you're missing all of the humans and all of their offerings and all of their changes. Humans evolve beautifully when they allow their inner beautiful energetic selves to come out. They change. They're more youthful. They smile more. Their eyes are wide open. If you rush ahead to your own healing, you try to, you'll miss the magic of the transformation. There's no need for you to rush an unfolding
Mm.
because it's inside of you. It comes out easily. Really, all that's happening is that your higher, beautiful, loving self is being drawn out more and more and more and more until you're spending more time with your energetic self. You don't have to go looking for it or trying to make it come out. That then it gets fearful and goes back inside, just much like a little mouse in a hole. You're banging it with a hammer. It's not coming out.
Mm.
So as you allow it and sit back in the other room and with a piece of cheese, it'll come out and be your friend.
Hmm. So it's kind of reassuring myself then. Is that the idea?
It is just noticing, oh, well, that feels very nice. Oh, that does not feel nice.
Hmm.
This feels good when I put my fingers like this. This does not feel good when I put my fingers like this. Whatever way it is, it's just a noticing. You're refamiliarizing yourself with yourself. You've lost track of who you are. The human body is containing the memories of a lifetime. And inside of that, your energetic self is containing memories of eternity. And that's very curious. You are very curious about that. So if we were to encourage you to say, the only way for your energetic self, which is all knowing, to come forth is for you to be gentle with it and welcome it. Hello, hands. You're doing a lovely job today. Look what all of you've done today. And when you're focusing on your hands, and this is just an example, if you're sitting and focusing on how beautiful they are, what wonderful work they've done, you're in the moment. And when you're in this moment, it's love. The moment is always love when you're sitting in it, because then you're in the universe, you're in alignment. When you're in alignment, you're sitting in love. So you cannot love those hands enough when you're focusing on them. And then the mind will take you off somewhere else. And perhaps you'll come back and say, but I didn't finish with the other hand because it's as lovely as this one is. See, it's just noticing for a moment what's happening. And when you focus on it, it naturally turns into love. This works very well outside in your surroundings. When you are able to touch a tree or pet it, you'll see, oh, how lovely you are. And all of a sudden, you're in alignment because your mind is gone and your energetic self is available.
Hmm. Okay.
It makes it, we make it sound very easy, but humans complicate this very easy sense of being. You have watched, it's particularly noticed in the little children. If they see the water, the puddle of water, they can only look at it. It doesn't matter if you're talking about everything else, the cookie or going someplace, they stare at the water. They want to get in it. They can't think of anything else. This water is so beautiful. Look at it. If I could just get my feet in it. And in that moment, they're in alignment because they don't hear their brain going off or anyone else's words either. They are focusing on the water and then they're standing in a love space.
Hmm. All right. I have to think. Try to allow that to occur then. It's just I guess, a shift in thinking, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is a removal of thinking. And that's difficult because you spent a lot of time getting your brain all activated. So you don't really know how to set it aside.
Mhm.
Could you set aside for a moment? I'm going to stare at my finger to laugh at that, of course.
Hmm. Yeah, when I look at something, I'll start studying it and noticing the detail of things, and I start thinking about it. So that's not really the point, is it?
No, the natural, it would be better for natural things, particularly for a mind like yours that picks things apart to see how does this work? How do you turn it on? How do you turn it off? If you were with a tree or a finger, it's already perfect. Don't have to do anything. You don't turn it on or off. It just exists as it is. So those who have busy analytical minds who want to take something apart and rebuild it, it's holding on to something that's possible to do that with is not the best thing for you to do. But perhaps a flower, you can't make that any better. A tree is perfect as it is. You see what we mean? Things that are already perfect and you have them around you. You have a plant or a painting, it's already completed. You can't make it any better than it is. It's finished. And as you focus on it, the colors might melt together, but all of a sudden you won't notice this at first because your mind's not there. But afterwards you'll think, oh, I wasn't thinking of anything. My mind was blank for a moment. And whatever thing that is that made your mind blank for a moment, you may do it again. If it's the painting, if it's the plant, if it's the tree, you'll every time you go to this thing, your mind will already know, oh yes, we skip out now. Oh, this is when we leave. And you'll condition yourself in this way as well. If you keep returning to the same thing that works over and over and you build your time, then eventually you'll think you'll be quiet, your mind will be quieted longer each time, but it already knows it can be conditioned easily. So when you have a candle, whatever you're going to look at, it knows, oh, right, now it's time to remove myself.
Mhm. Yeah. Now you mentioned it. To look at a campfire is very soothing that way. You can let your mind drift, and or I find that's something that I can find very relaxing, just to stare at embers.
Yes, because they are perfect as they are.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make it any better. And this is the thing, you see, humans always wish to make things better, implying they're not perfect as they are. But perhaps they are. Perhaps this moment is perfect the way it is. Perhaps the campfire is perfect. Perhaps the tree, perhaps the puddle. Perhaps it's all perfect just the way it is. Because when you bring that intention to it, all of a sudden you are connected. So you are in your higher self and you are channeling love.
Mm-hmm.
So you're channeling love and the object is love. And therefore that moment is perfect. You will never get another moment as perfect as that one until the next moment when you make a different perfect moment.
Mm-hmm.
But you may live this way easily, not easily because you're in human existence. You may live this life many moments as you can, side by side by side, until they add up. Until then, you have a life of ease, a life of love, a life of being aware of moment by moment.
Hmm.
It's possible, but it adds up only one moment at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's lots of other distractions that occur in daily life that you have to attend to that don't let you
Yes.
sort of
But
be.
that's also the fun of the humanity, you see. You never know what's coming or what direction it's coming from. And that's a certain amount of fun, correct?
Yeah, it's that's right. It creates a sense of wonder, I guess, of hope and things because you don't know what's going to happen. But it can
Could be bad or good, but it's going to be
create
something.
fear and anxiety as well. If you see something that's, from our standpoint, looks very likely that's going to occur, it could be very fearful.
Yes. And do you are able to stay in the moment when you're in fear as well? For when you sit in the moment and you say, I am absolutely petrified right now. I'm so afraid, I'm shaking, and my mouth, my teeth my mouth is numb and I'm frozen. I'm so afraid. All of a sudden you're present. You're present in the fear, and suddenly the fear disappears because you can't explain it anymore. Once you explain it, I'm frozen, I'm afraid, I'm so afraid, I'm very, very afraid, I'm so very, very afraid. Eventually you tire of it and you become fear itself. And then fear itself is just another emotion that moves. It's just energy. See? So it works as easily with fear. If you're able to sit in it, you
Mm.
get tired of it. You're not going to sit in fear for days and days and days and days. You'll sit in it, and if you feel it intensely, it'll be done more quickly. Then I don't think I'm afraid. I'm a little, oh no, I'm not afraid. And that goes on and on and on, you see. But if you can call it what it is and sit in that awfulness or wonder, whatever,
Mhm.
both moved at the same speed. You can't stay in wonder and love any longer than you can focus on it. You can't stay in fear any longer than you can focus on it. It's the same. Feels different. You like one more than the other, but they're both the same. As much energy as you focus on it is all that can be handled because you're human.
Hmm. So, are you saying that if you had something where you had a very fearful something that could occur, like we were talking in one of the last videos about, um, somebody attacking you with they're on horseback and going to attack you with a sword, and they're going to decapitate you or maim you in some way, and you have no way of defending yourself. So you can see this event that's highly probable that's going to happen. Now it's not certain that it's going to happen till it happens. I'll grant that, but from a human perspective, it's this train is coming straight at you, and by doing what you're suggesting, you'd be able to let fear go and have a different emotion.
Yes. What do you think of that now? It sounds ridiculous, but follow this. So there's a horseman coming. He's going to cut your head off. And you're absolutely afraid because you love your life. You don't want to be hurt. Ouch. So what if you sit there and that? Oh, that's probably going to hurt. I wonder what kind of axe he has. I wonder what that's made out of. And start to be curious like this. All of a sudden, you're not in fear and you're not tight. You've loosened up all of a sudden. And you think, oh, that kind of axe doesn't really stay with the head very much. It always falls to that side. And all of a sudden, you're in a different place and you just move to the other side
Hmm.
because you become in a rational, easy space and you may move around energy. Because surely someone coming to hit you with an object or punch you in the face has energy involved. And if you can slow your energy down, you may also see their energy. And just before it strikes you, you'll know where it's going to hit, and you can go around it because you're in a calm state of awareness.
Hmm. That's very interesting.
It's a different way of being. And it is not living a life, a human life that your ancestors lived and devised for you. You see, that was all fine before, but now it's a new time. It's a time now to start to realize or decide, do I wish to live like my ancestors, or will I live as if I'm moving towards the future? The future of evolution, where I am one with all mankind, where we live in love, where we make decisions as a group, even if they're not good for me, they're better for the group, and we will all work as one. If
Mhm.
we are moving towards that, then you must leave the old ancestry way of living, which is fighting to survive, behind. For it does not move forward in this way. It
Mhm.
lives in fear always.
Interesting. Hmm.
You are interested in most things.
I have many questions. It's just a matter of how much time we have to ask. I have to ask them. Interesting. I was I did a very interesting regression with someone who connected back to a time when extraterrestrials, I would call it the Middle Ages, like they were talking about men being on horseback with swords and that they were killing each other over land and squabbling over territory, and they didn't feel that they could live with humanity and unless
Oh,
humanity was willing to accept them. Do you know what I'm speaking of?
yes, we do.
Hmm. Yes, it was very a wonderful conversation I had with them, and they were very surprised that when I was telling about some of the things that were happening in this time on the earth and some of the changes that humanity has made. So it seemed to them that humanity had definitely progressed.
Yes. As we have described humanity a moment ago, which is working as one for a higher good,
Hmm.
loving all and treating all species and mankind as if you're the same. This is your highest evolution in mankind. And you are speaking of accepting other species at that time, not at this time. Humans have not evolved to a state where they care more for the group's benefit over their own personal gain, correct?
Yes, well, that was exactly the question that I posed to him because he talked about living in, or this energy was talking about living in love, and I was just curious how their way of being was different from, say, a human's and survival. And so I asked the question about, well, if there was some catastrophic event that would happen where only, somebody had to stay behind to manage the fort or whatever, and only some people could leave, but somebody had to pick to remain behind. That would be a very difficult decision for humans because everybody's very focused on individual survival.
Mm-hmm.
And this person or this energy said, well, it would be obvious that they would stay behind because they had the most love for humans. I thought, well, that's
Yeah.
very interesting philosophy, I guess, and to be able to be at peace with yourself to do that.
Yes. So as we speak of human evolution, your species will eventually be there. As long, not as long, it will eventually reach this place
Mhm.
because there's more and more energy being mm, funneled through humans.
Hmm.
Humans are allowing themselves more and more to be used as channels of love.
Hmm. Now this,
This is balancing this off, you see, not right this moment in your time, but it is putting more and more love onto the into the human evolution, and it will tip the scales.
well, this was energy that had came to Earth and it was on a sort of, I'll call it a reconnaissance mission to see if it's something that could work. But it was the wrong time in our history to do that. But maybe this is a more appropriate time. So I thought, well, that's very interesting. I wonder if this energy could help with this process of evolution. And then in that way, we could work together with it to
Uh,
benefit
do you,
humanity.
do you believe that humans are ready for such a thing today?
Some, I would think some are, because I was thinking about that and I thought, well, think about it. We had World War One and World War Two, within this last 100 years, let's say. And, in World War Two in particular, young men who were 18 years old would willingly jump into an airplane knowing that the probability of them returning was very slim.
Mhm.
Statistically, I think it was 6 or 7 flights they ever made, and then they would get shot down. And yet these men, willingly jumped into an airplane, or uh, that seemed like very high probability, that they would be killed. And there are many stories of heroism like that in the war. So they're fighting for something that is a concept, a belief, as opposed to fighting for personal survival. Fighting for their next meal, or
Yes,
fighting to get more territory or land, or it's a different purpose. And
yes.
I thought, well, for that has to indicate some form of evolution, I think, in thinking that people are willing to sacrifice themselves like that.
Mm. That was the thinking at the time. It was also told from one to the next. Yes, you must sacrifice for your place. You must sacrifice for your place. You must sacrifice for your place. It became a mantra in itself. It was not to be, it was almost a law. You are thinking today, if you had free will and decided, I think I'll do that. But you are speaking of a time where it was not quite free will,
Yeah.
that it was implied, suggested,
Mhm.
and then it was regulated.
Yeah. A duty to your country.
So yes, this was not done in higher alignment. As wonderful as this is, and as much as you are moved by it, because you are human, being moved by human uh, sacrifice, which you yourself question whether you could do or not. It's a different time, so you don't need to decide this. So you as a human are raising this up. This, what we are speaking of, is allowing love to pass into you, out of you, so you're almost invisible. You're not even a human.
Mm.
Then you are your higher energetic self. This is a different discussion. This is about energy. It's about allowing. It's about being less human, less visible.
Mm.
Do you see? It is not at all the same thing. Although in your human mind and your soft-heartedness, that you value valor, you value sacrifice. But what if allowing love to pass through you was not a sacrifice at all, but an easy, blessing way of moving through the world? What if it was easy and not difficult?
Mhm.
We are speaking of returning to your highest state,
Okay. All right.
which is what you are like when you're not in your physical form.
Mm.
That's your highest state. And your straight up love energy.
Mm.
So, this is what we are speaking of, being less and less human and more love energy.
Mm. I see. All right. Interesting. Tell me, is it just kind of a tangent question? Does does intellect have anything to do with evolution? In that, um, people who are might be very like academically smart, be able to be intuitive, what would you say, innovative, resourceful, the sort of qualities that would make you successful as a human, I think. Is that something that
Mm.
comes through evolution, or is that just a random thing that sometimes you'll get it and other times you won't as you come
You've
onto the earth?
you've almost got it. You didn't quite go far enough to get it. So you are wondering if human intellect, you almost said, is related to intuition. You missed it almost. So when you have an intuition about something, I'm going to build this. I don't know why. Perhaps you're a small one, and perhaps you have this intuition, this knowing inside, deep inside of you, that you're going to do this thing that is absolutely impossible to know today, and impossible to do today. But there's something inside of you, you just know it. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Intellect was though, or intuition is more of a feeling, I would say. It's
Yeah, just follow us. Just follow us here. So you know what that intuition, that knowing inside of you feels like. I'm going to do this thing. No one's going to talk me out of it. And it sounds impossible, but I will.
Mhm.
This sort of knowing. Now, in order for this knowing to turn into an actual thing, intellect must be invited in. So intellect is invited in to fulfill a greater need, a greater purpose, a greater longing deep inside. This intellect is blessed. It is for the betterment of usually of mankind. It is not for the human. When you have a strong desire as a small one, it's to benefit mankind. And it's you listening to your inner calling. So in that moment, you are saying, I hear you. I hear you, universe. I hear you, in energetic self. We will keep this secret knowing until the time comes. Between now and when the time comes, you'll be calling on intellect because you will be inviting it in to fulfill your greater destiny. This intellect is different than I will learn things so no one will ever call me stupid, and I will eventually call them stupid. See? Different intention, but it might look the same to a professor. These two humans are sitting in a class devouring all sorts of information. Different intentions. One is to serve mankind, one is to serve self.
Hmm.
So it cannot be all considered the same. It depends on the underlying intention.
And does that happen within the same lifetime?
What does this mean?
Well, I think, as you alluded to in earlier conversations, some people tend to get book learning and concepts, and they're intellectually able to pull in new ideas and learn things very easily. Uh,
Yes.
Other people might struggle with simple concepts, and so they never do well at school. So for them to create, I don't know, some kind of time machine or something that they may be very focused on wanting to do, it's purely a fantasy because they'll never have the intellectual ability to
Yes.
pull the materials and the concepts together in order to be able to create the thing if they don't understand how to build something or how things work. So I guess that's where I'm going, is that, well, it seems as part of evolution, if you are open-minded and you can understand new concepts and integrate them and build on them, well, then you can evolve faster.
It again depends on your motives. For truly a high intention of building a rocket ship does not occur to every child, not deep inside. The ones who have it deep inside and know, I'm going to build a rocket ship. Then the intellect comes energetically to this because this is a love. This is love when you say, I'm going to build a rocket ship. Energy is drawn to it, which is information. Everything's really energy, but information is energy. So it's drawn to this human. This human will automatically learn what it needs to learn to build a rocket ship because the intention was clear and the energy comes straight to it. It does not mean that this human has to wait another lifetime to build the rocket ship.
But you would have to pursue some kind of academic training in
Yes,
aeronautical engineering and that
yes,
sort of education, and you'd have to have the ability to keep
yes,
up with the class like that to learn that sort of
yes,
information. So if you
yes.
were intellectually struggling, where some people just
Ah,
can't learn that fast, they
yes,
would never be able to learn it because they the way we teach
yes.
in our
They
university,
would
it
let us just we will complete this for you. The one that is not capable of understanding the physics that you speak of will not have this dream. They will have a dream of having bees in a beehive.
Hmm.
They will dream of growing a tall sunflower, and they will know inside that they will. They will have a calling to preach on a street corner to strangers. You see what we mean? We're speaking of an inner calling and knowing deep within you of what will occur in the future. And it's your secret. It's your secret knowing.
Hmm. Well, I just think about my own experiences when I was younger. Uh, I really wanted to be a mechanical engineer, and
You
weird.
say want. Did you have this knowing deep inside of you that this, could you see the thing that was going to be created by you deep within your soul?
Absolutely, I had no doubt. It's the only I had a path. I was very focused as a child, I think, in the way that you're speaking. As I understood, I wanted to join the Navy. I wanted to go through a military college program, and I was going to follow this, path in my career. And I didn't apply for anything else. This is what I chose to do, and had full confidence that I was going to do it. And uh, it was a struggle. And when I got into the program, I found that it moved along too quickly. And I was very young when I started. I was younger than most just because I started school early and whatnot. But so I found it very difficult to stay up with the academics. So I had to go down a different path in my life because I wasn't able to do the demanding academics and the rest of the program and stay at that particular institution. So I took a different way through in order to complete. So in some ways, I often look back and think, well, what if, right? What if I had redone a year, or if I had gone in later, or I'd done something different in order to make that a reality, how my life might have been different. But, in terms of focus and vision, that was exactly what I wanted to do at the time, but it wasn't what played out in my life.
So inside of you right now, what is your most innermost dream?
My innermost dream right now is this idea of alchemy, of changing the material properties of things like plastic in order to be able to turn it into something else. But I'm not
And
a chemist.
you are doing that for the good of mankind or for your own ego? Which?
No, it's like this is something I think could massively change the climate if we can, absolutely for the good of mankind. It's not about my ego.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, if we can use these concepts and apply them in a way energetically to material to change the
of
structure of
course.
energy of.
Of course, of course. We will use you for the example then. For you have spoken perfectly of the example we have set forth about a high intention coming forth with love to offer to mankind.
Mhm.
And now the energy will be drawn to it. So you yourself will be somehow involved with this change. If not actually there doing it, you will be a part of this because you have brought it out into life. You've brought this out into life. Now energy will be attracted to it, for you have set it in love. Watch it. Set it out, set your intention out in love. And watch what happens. Watch who you stumble across. And each one you stumble across, ask them, do you think this can be done? Would you do it with me? Will you do it for me? Will you do it in lieu of me? What about you? What do you think of this? You will go forward in love this way, not forcing your ego or your agenda, but asking in love, who will do this? Who will do this with me, for me?
Hmm.
Who will do this? How will we do this? How will this be created for the betterment of mankind? Do you see the love? Do you feel the energy in this statement?
Mhm.
It's different. It's not it's not this at all. It's this is for the betterment of mankind. How may it be achieved as a group? For you yourself are one individual who brings forth the idea, and then you ask your for your fellows who are you are one with energetically to complete the task with you. For you're not alone. This is not about you. You are the voice piece. You speak and others fall into place. Do you understand this from your life?
Well, I think I understand what you're saying. It's it's something that's subtle that occurs maybe on an energetic level that I'm not aware of. I guess is how I'm interpreting that.
You set the intention.
Yes.
Someone must set the intention. Then the energy and the humans that are capable and all of those who wish to be involved come forth. But someone has to set the intention first, which is you. This is not the first time you've done this. This would be a great idea for mankind. Just blurted it out and the thing was created. This is a wonderful idea also. And the thing is created. Your role in humanity as a spokesperson, do you understand? Or do you, as you look around your life and as you have looked back, do you understand how you spoke and things became real?
It's not obvious to me. I would.
A vision for mankind, you've always had it. You've always cared for mankind. And the things that you were putting into place were for the greater good of them, not the greater good of you. You got some good stuff with it, but the intention wasn't that. That was a side note. That was a benefit, a side benefit. The higher benefit is for mankind. You are not aware of all of the things that you have offered to the world as of yet.
No.
Your energetic love, your very being is giving. It allows others. It gives out and out and out and out. It's a ripple effect in this way. This will be something you will watch for this, and allow the ideas, this conversation to turn into a fruit, we would say, from a tree to a fruit. We will need to close this session.
Okay, very good.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Namaste.
Namaste. Much thanks, love.